everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're logging in from. And welcome to episode 4 of ChipTales. I'm so happy to have you all today. You all are making our all Sundays so exciting. We love talking to you. We love answering your questions. We love sharing stories and insights from the senior most leaders out there in the semiconductor world. And I'm so happy and so grateful about our today's speaker. You won't believe I'm going to knock your socks off today. Our speaker started his journey in 1991, Feb 1991. I'm not even kidding. Do the math. Like how many years of experience he's getting on board for all of us today. So I'm happy to present to you Mr. Anil Kumar on board.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning and good evening, Anil. I know you're joining in from Chandler. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and excited to have the conversation today.
Yes, like it's just humbling that you started your career in 1991. I am 1991 born. I'm blown away that you are here and sharing your insights with us today. Thank you so much.
I'm happy you guys find this useful.
Sure. So, guys, to let us know from where you are logging in today, we would love to know from where you are tuning in from. Hi, Vishal. Good morning. So great. So, Anil, tell us something about you. I know you are a principal engineer, system principal engineer in Intel. What does this post mean and what kind of work do you get to do?
Absolutely. I work with Intel's customers, our company's customers, to make modern laptops as well as we also make detachables and tablets. How they can make very attractive devices that are providing unique experiences to the customer based on the silicon chips that we design, how to apply them to get the best results for the customer. Experiences means some people want all day battery life, right? So you charge once and keep it until the evening. Some people want the computer to be instantly on. Some people want a lot of video conferencing, so they want the best camera. So I help the customer to do that. So that's my main job.
Wow, that's amazing. Brilliant. And I also know that you are also a life coach. You're a certified life coach. What is that all about?
Um, that came out of my working with my colleagues. So it means I help the people to find the right answers for themselves. I don't like to, the answers that might have worked for me would not work for others. So I don't want to give people advice. I ask the right question to the people so they can find the right answers themselves. So it's very different from mentoring.
Yes. Uh, you know, I think you have explained it very well, like in the most simplest form, that asking the right questions. When you ask the right questions, make a person re-evaluate what his priorities or her priorities are, and then accordingly choose the path for that person. It's very true. The power of the right question,
Yeah,
and asking that right question needs a lot of experience and insight to help the other person find the correct path. Uh,
absolutely.
yeah. So, Anil, tell us one thing that is not there on your LinkedIn profile. Something about you.
Oh, something that is not about me on the LinkedIn profile. There are many things. So what would I say? I haven't put something on the LinkedIn profile, right? So every Sunday I volunteer with the South Asian community here and do language classes as well as leadership classes for the children who are in the high school here. So
Mm.
that's one thing I have not put in my LinkedIn, and that gives me the kids ask a lot of good questions, and finding the right answers for them is really difficult. So, that keeps me on my toes and thinking something other than VLSI design and other than system design. and something other than worrying about the correct BIOS for the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. It takes my mind away from what I need to do at work, and also gives me other perspectives. Also, I can understand what the growing children, what kind of questions they have, and oftentimes I don't have the answers, so I have to study myself before coming back with the answer next Sunday. So it's very exciting, and I have been doing it for last several years now.
Wow. So tell me something like this. I'm very curious about this thing. What do you feel? How do you feel the current generation that is in schools and colleges is different from what we were?
In my generation, we were more focused on um, studying something that would lead to a stable job and economic security and all. So obviously, I cannot talk about the current generation back in India, but what I see, at least in the South Asian community in the United States, is people want to explore other options. Not everybody want to be an engineer or a doctor. They want to be activists. They want to help the downtrodden community. So they want to do public service. They want to do set the policy. They want to, for example, the recent pandemic forced many kids to go into health policy research. So they want to combine medicine and engineering and law and all those things, and they work at the intersectionality of things to do the good for the community. So whether it is the marginalized community here or the down people who, across the board, like some of them go back to India and teach for India, right? So they want to do the service first, their economic security they think about it second. Maybe they have
Yes.
the freedom to do that because their parents have maybe set the foundation. But still, I see the service mentality. So it's not what is in it for me, it's what can I do for the country. So
Yes.
that shift is good.
Yes. I'm also like, this is the same thing I observe in Gen Z. The survival questions that we had in mind, job, financial stuff, health, taking care of other things, they are more driven by social causes. And I think that's a wonderful change.
Yes.
Okay, so are you ready for the fiery fire? So I'm
You are
going
doing
to
that
do
too.
rapid fire. Please try to answer it in a single word or maybe a couple of sentences. So
Yes.
tell me something. What do you prefer, beach or mountain?
Beach, obviously, blue beach.
Okay. What do you prefer, books or podcasts?
Both, actually. I like both.
Okay. What was the last book that you have read?
So the last book I have read is actually one of the books I have read previously. So it is the High Output Management by one of the founders of Intel.
Oh, is it? Oh, I was not aware. I would definitely. So, do you recommend this book to me and our audience?
Oh, absolutely. By Andy Grove, High Output Management. He simply explains the principles of management by using the example of how to run a coffee shop. And at the end of the reading through the story, we will realize that coffee shop is nothing but the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer.
Wow. I would definitely take this up and go through this book because I think only like from leaders' perspective, you can simplify the thing, the complex knowledge, the complex things in a way that can be easily understood. Like I think we are going to do today with you on ChipTales.
Absolutely.
What is the highest speed you have driven a car in? So are you fast and furious or not?
It depends on the day. Nowadays, maybe more recently, I try to go closer to the speed limit. But several years back, I used to go very high speed. I have gone 120 miles, 130
Wow.
miles per hour. So that's quite high in number of kilometers. So it's
Yes.
1.6 times, right? So I have done that, but I don't recommend doing that. I have got traffic tickets for doing that. So
Okay.
nowadays I'm very careful. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think one, for the sake of experience, one or two are fine. Is it okay? One or two parking tickets or speeding
Oh,
tickets? Absolutely. So tell me your favorite tech product right now that you love using.
Oh, can you ask the question one more time? What kind of
What is
product?
your favorite technology related product that you own right now and you love using?
Okay, I like my iPhone, unfortunately, but I like it. Yes.
Yeah, so okay, great. Even I love iPhone. That's brilliant. And what is your most used mobile app?
My most used mobile app is probably YouTube.
Oh, so what are you watching on YouTube right now? What kind of content attracts you?
Watching news, available news, and sometimes some trainings. Sometimes you have product reviews and things like that. So, and also, I listen to a lot of Indian classical music. Even though you play it on YouTube, you're not looking at it. You're just listening to the music. But I play it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's amazing. Like even I'm crazy about Indian classical music, but I think for me to enjoy that, I need that complete vibe, that complete slow down vibes, dim lights, and nice company or something, and nice fragrance. Just like super toned down version of life.
Yeah, I can do it at any time while driving or while cooking or while doing the dishes or while cleaning the house or while running. So I can do
Yeah.
listen to music anytime. I do listen to podcasts also that way while walking or running or something like that.
Okay. So, what is the one podcast you would recommend our audience to definitely watch?
The one podcast I like is Marketplace from National Public Radio. I listen to that every day for half an hour. I also watch their subsidiary shows. So related to that, they have a bunch of different podcasts, but the daily one plus any weekend ones and any monthly ones that they produce, I watch because that gives the big economic picture of a deep economic picture of what is happening in the market in terms of technology as well as economics worldwide, right? So I listen to that, and it is in they explain typically two or three concepts in every day. So with this related to the daily news, so it's not like CNBC or Fox Business where you just see the headline and up which stock went down. It's more about the supply chain and the semiconductor shortage and some where some CEOs run the company, they have interviews with CEOs. So I do definitely recommend that as engineers. At the end of the day, we are adding value, and then whatever we do have to have an economic benefit to our employers or to our customers or our customers' customer. So having a good sense of economics has helped me. So I do listen to that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Anil. That's actually very powerful. Like, I think generally this is a common thing that leaders say that apart from your day job, do invest 1 or 2 hours every day in expanding your learning horizon. So podcasts are a very effective way of doing that, and finding the right podcast helps you organically transition out of the current role into into role of a leader in future.
Yes, absolutely. So doing your what you need to do, what your manager asked you today, won't get you to the next job. So that you have to find and you have to do it on your own.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was all for rapid fire round. Thank you so much, Anil. I think the rapid fire round was full of a lot of information. I absolutely loved it. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to the next segment now.
Okay.
Okay. So now you have started your career back in 1991, and so basically, how have you grown in your career? Because your career have seen a lot of phases. Like there, there was Ethernet boom, there was internet boom, there was internet bubble, a lot of things. So how have you navigated your career through all these years?
That's a good question, and it has many aspects to it. So I'm just thinking, what should I focus on? Maybe when I started when I was in the engineering school, towards towards the end of the undergraduate, I developed an affinity for circuit analysis, circuit design, and then by reading magazines, we didn't have internet at that time. We had to look at IEEE publications, IEEE Spectrum, or go to the library and look at various IEEE transactions. We saw that communication as well as VLSI industry where a lot of growth was happening. So I wanted to work in something doing digital design or something. That was my priority. So I looked for opportunities in India to do that, and I made applications to many openings there and took some exams and all. But the first job I got was working in industrial automation, what we call IoT today. It was called instrumentation at that time. But I started on it to gain the experience, not to waste time. So I actually worked only 6 months in that, and then one of these applications I made for the VLSI, and I took the test. I got into that, so I quit that job, which I just took for the fun of it. But my interest was in VLSI. I started in VLSI, and I got trained there, the fundamentals of VLSI design, in addition to what I learned at school. So it was a very good learning experience for me. There were a lot of trainings because most of the people in that group were freshers. There were experienced people training us. We also got training at an outside agency called the Central Electronics Engineering Research Institute in near Bits Pilani. So we got formal training, and I learned everything. And after some time, I felt that whatever I could learn in that job, I have finished the learning, and there was no more learning in me, and things were slowing down a little bit. Then I became restless, and I looked for opportunities elsewhere in the real estate industry, which was actually booming at that time in India with ST Ericsson, not ST Microelectronics, Texas Instruments starting in Bangalore, a lot of other European companies starting around Noida and Delhi and all. So I actually secured a few jobs in some of them. At the same time, I got recruited by a global telecom company, Alcatel, to work on system design. I have no previous system design experience, but my fundamentals in digital and analog design were so good, so they recruited me, and it was something different. And I took the challenge. I jumped into it because it got interesting me. Because at the end of the day, the telecom boom was happening in India at that time. C dot was there. A lot of rural exchanges coming up. So getting a phone was becoming very easy. So I wanted to be part of that revolution. I saw that change in the market. I thought working in telecommunication is going to be the big thing. So I jumped at that opportunity, and I continued to work in that for several years thereafter. So my experience in that helped me come over to the US because a startup in the US needed that specific experience. So they recruited me from there. I came there, I worked there. But what I found in the startup was I was doing a lot of work, and it was actually a lot of taxing work. I learned a lot, but at the same time, the work hours were too long, and I couldn't sustain it for more than 2 years. Then I found that it is not a healthy balance for me. So I looked for something more stable, and then I switched jobs there. And as you said, at this same time, the internet boom was going on. So there was a lot of demand for digital communication engineers working in telephony and data communication. So I was lucky to be part of that. So I continued there. And as you said, mm, a few years later, the internet bubble came. And what helped me at that time was there were a lot of layoffs. But what helped me was I was a very good engineer. What I was doing was my capabilities were well known in the company. So it would be I was part of the engineers who were retained by the company, and I was not part of the layoff, right? So even though there was severe economic downturn, but your reputation, your output sometimes helps you to dodge that. So I continued through the downturn, and then I saw that I was doing the same thing over and over. Again, I found this that I'm not learning anything new. Then I looked for an opportunity. I also said that if you need to make a change and you find an issue with the board or a system, finally you had to go to the semiconductor manufacturer, right? So company A or company B. And oftentimes, by the time you use the chip, the company has moved on to the next generation and the generation after, and nobody is willing to change the chip because the designers who designed the chip may not be even there at the company. This may be an old process, maybe 5-year-old chip. They cannot change it. So I was thinking, if you really need to fundamentally design things, you need to work with semiconductor manufacturer or maybe work with people who design SoCs or ASICs. So I wanted to get back into that industry, and I was looking, and then the opportunity at my current employer came. I came over, but the domain was different. And again, I took a chance of going into a domain. I know I have the transferable skills. The
Hmm.
skills I learned here can be easily transferred into the known domain, and learning the new domain is my new learning. So I went from telecommunications into consumer electronics. So I worked in consumer electronics. Unfortunately, our company exited that business. Then I moved on to a derivative of that. And a few years later, I moved into the IoT when IoT was growing, right? So there I learned industrial automation, autonomous cars, X-ray machines, medical, all sorts of applications. And I worked on real-time systems and also doing subsystems and IPs. From a system
Hmm.
designer, I went to doing parts of the SoC and defining parts of the SoC, working closely with silicon designers. So again, it came to a point where I'm not learning anything new. I look for opportunities. Luckily for me, our employer is having different job opportunities. They allow growth from within. So I was able to look for a new challenge. Again, leveraging my telecommunication experience and consumer electronics experience, plus my IoT experience to do something like new for me because I have never worked on PCs or tablets before. So now I'm so happy to work on them, right? So maybe in the future, I have worked on the edge, but I have not worked on the data center. But maybe in the future, maybe before I retire, I might get an opportunity to work on the data center. That means I worked on pretty much everything back.
Thank you so much, Anil, for sharing this marvelous journey with us. I think one of the things that really caught my attention was the mention of transferable skills. I think that particular problem exists for a lot of professionals as well as students who want to pursue career in semiconductors. So, how do you suggest one can stay current in their jobs, in their skills, as well as evolving with the technology trend that is there in the market?
That's a great question. So I think we can do three things to do that, right? So we have the job we need to do. This is the job our managers ask us to do. This is the job our customers want us to do. This is the main job we have to do, right? We have to deliver. We have to deliver consistently. We have to deliver with a good quality. We have to deliver on time, and our customers, our co-workers, our management rely on us. So we cannot compromise on that. So I would say, under normal circumstances, 70% of your time needs to be dedicated to that, right? So to do that, now we have some infrastructure jobs, the jobs that we may not like doing, right? So entering that bug, tracking that bug, maybe doing the timesheet, maybe sending that weekly status report, maybe organizing some meetings, maybe writing some documents, things like that. So there is that work that is, I would call the necessary evil to do our first work job, which is to deliver our outputs. There is this support work we have to do. That also we cannot avoid. So it could vary anywhere from 5% to 10% of your time. So we have to find ways to minimize that, but still we have to do like mandatory training or new tool training, etc. So that is going to take up from anywhere from 70 to 80% of your time. But then you have to learn what is going on in the industry, what is adjacent to what you are doing, You have to look at innovations of doing your own job as well as your own product. So what is the problem that is happening around you, right? That nobody is solving. So you look at there would be issues that there is no owner for. Nobody is addressing it. And if you think if you address the problem, you can do things faster, or you can increase the profit, or your product can attract more customers. Definitely, you have to spend time thinking about it, and you don't want to say there is a problem, right? You want to say, I see this as a problem. I think solving this problem will give us this kind of benefit, and this is how I plan to do the job, and these are the help I need. So you have to develop a proposal, a systematic proposal for that. Go to your management or go to your sponsor and talk to them and say, this is a problem I see, and this is the benefit I get, and this is how I solve. Please help me solve the problem. So many times resources are limited, management may not be interested, so you have to find a sponsor for solving the problem. Maybe you will, when you talk to them, they would say this is not the right problem to solve. Maybe there is another problem that nobody is owning. They might give you a problem to solve, an extra work to do. So go take on those opportunities. That is how you grow into your next role, right? One more thing I would say is, so that would be, I would say, as you said earlier, allocate some time every week to do this kind of innovative projects, right? So I would say allocate 10% of your time for that. That almost gets us to the into the 100%. And so I won't want you to consistently work more than 100%, but oftentimes you can adjust and then also find 5% of the time every week to do some learning, right? So that may be listening to podcasts, looking at LinkedIn Learning, maybe watching some YouTube videos. LinkedIn Learning is many free resources are available from online universities, etc. So learn the latest technology. Maybe it is artificial intelligence, maybe it is data sciences, maybe it's some new medical applications of electronics, maybe it is about security and privacy concerns. So learn something adjacent to your, but that means including your core work plus your innovative work plus your hobby plus learning, you are anywhere between 90 and 120% of your capacity, and you have to balance that.
Hmm. Absolutely, Anil. I think that sums it all very beautifully. First, develop mind of innovation. And for that, you need to free up some of your time. So be efficient in whatever you are doing. Develop processes, optimize things so that you are able to conclude your day job in a shorter period of time. Let's say 70% of what you were giving right now, you should be able to get the same or more output in 70% of it. And now you have freed up 30% or 20% of your time. Use that to explore the challenges that are there, specific to a product, specific to your organization, specific to anything that catches your eyes. Talk to the leaders about it, that maybe there is a way we can solve this. And the time you have saved, that 30 or 20% of the time that you have saved, use it to explore those, to navigate or try to find the solution of those problems. That will be the biggest booster in your career. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the audience is curious to know the biggest question. So we know about opportunities in logic and physical design. What other opportunities are there in semiconductors?
Absolutely. We could be starting out in like chip designers, but for any chip to be designed, first someone has to decide what chip needs to be designed, right? So that will be some kind of marketing or product owner. So eventually we can, that's one of the career opportunities as a good designer you can grow into later on in your career after a few years of experience. So product owner. Then there will be engineers who are needed to prototype it before you commit it to silicon, right? So there is a lot of people who need to simulate do the emulation and the FPGA design, pre-silicon design. So a lot of engineers could be going into the FPGA design or pre-silicon emulation aspects, behavioral modeling and things like that. So maybe you are a combination of an FPGA designer plus a software engineer at that point. Then once we get the silicon back, we had to put it onto a board and evaluate it. So designing silicon validation boards could be a board designer's job. So then when customers want to use the board, our chip in different applications, right? So the same chip could be used for a streaming setup box, it could be used for a PC, or it could be used for a tablet. So people who are doing like solution architects or field application engineers or platform application engineering, right? So they need to have a good understanding of the system. Um, they should be a good understanding of the chip itself. They should know hardware. They should know a little bit of software, depending on what area you work in, about the BIOS, about the operating system, etc., etc. Right? So that is an overall growth path into a future architect. So the people can grow into architects by working around the chip and how the chip gets applied. So then also we don't sell silicon chips bare. They go into packages and they could contain multiple dies, as you have covered in one of your previous talks. So package design engineers is another job that is out there, right? So packaging design is another area where people can concentrate beyond board design and system design. And all this has to be done with a good quality, right? Quality is not post an afterthought. Quality should be built into the design. So good design engineers, good software engineers could eventually turn into good quality engineers, making sure that we meet the standards, we meet the regulations, etc. And all of our products are connected products today, as I spoke, all the way from devices at your home or in the car, and all the way to the cloud. Everything is connected to the cloud. Your iPhone is connected to the cloud. Your mobile phone is connected to the cloud. So security is an important aspect. It has got hardware security. It has got system level security. It has got the software level security. So security is a growing field. So people can grow into that, understanding the security. If you understand the security at the IP level, if you understand the security at the SoC level, eventually you can go to a system level security expert looking at end-to-end aspects. So those are some of the uh, jobs I could think that you can grow into or have adjacent to pure silicon design. That just comes to my mind.
Yes, absolutely. So, Anil, I think one of the common questions from audience is that we hear that these are all these job opportunities out there, but what are the skill sets that would be needed for an engineer to enter into these?
Yes. So when we are coming out of school, we are going to have we have to build some fundamental things, right? So people going into the chip design typically comes out from three streams, I believe. People could be doing computer science or computer engineering. People could be doing electrical engineering, or people could be doing instrumentation or electronics and communication engineering. So these are some of the common streams that we learn at the university in India. So any of the people from any of the three could easily go into VLSI design. And once we join companies as precious, they do train us in the tools they use. If you are doing memory design, they train you in the specifics of that. If you are doing standard cell design, they teach you about that. If you are doing pre-silicon design or FPGA design, they teach you that. So you have to pick up the on the jobs the skill there. So actually, I want to go back to what you learn at the school, at least at the undergraduate level. If you want to go into the VLSA, you should have a good understanding of circuit analysis, circuit design, analog circuits, digital logic circuits, like state machines and Boolean logic, etc. And you have to have some fundamental understanding of mathematics like Laplace transform and Fourier transform, etc. And then a good understanding of, I would say, RF engineering. radiation and propagation, right? So these kind of fundamental things you need to know if you want to go into hardware design, right? So those are the basic skills: analog design, digital design, the solid state device physics, right? How transistors and MOSFETs and all work. So this kind of fundamental knowledge you need to gain from your school, whether you are doing the post graduation or the undergraduation. Then, as I said earlier, you gain the other on the job training. So those are the technical knowledge you gain. So if you are an FPGA designer and if you want to go become a product owner later, maybe the actual details of the FPGA design may not help you. But while you are designing the FPGA, you are going to get a set of requirements. And you need to ask, why am I getting these requirements? How is my customer going to use the FPGA? Is it going to be used in a telecommunication circuit? Is it going to be used as a video decoder encoder card? Is it going to be used as an AI accelerator in a data center? Or is it going to be used as an AI accelerator in a camera or in a car? So develop your knowledge around that. Work with your colleagues, work with your product owner, work with your validation engineer, work with your board design engineer, gain that broader knowledge, right? So you have to look around where you are. That's how you gain transferable skills, right? Technical
Hmm.
transferable skills. Besides that, on the day-to-day job, we had to develop some good qualities, right? So we had to deliver what we say we are going to deliver, right? So we had to be consistent. We had to be good communicators. We had to have good quality of our output. We need to be trustworthy. We need to be willing to share information with others. What we know, we need to teach others. We should be willing to ask questions. If we don't know something, just say, I don't know something, I need help. The biggest quality I would say for anybody to grow is the ability to say, I don't know and I need help, and work with people who know and gain the knowledge of people who have done it before and improve upon that. So we are going to make incremental changes, right? So oftentimes incremental changes actually, it may look small to you, but it may give more impact. So some soft skills also you build while working. Ultimately, what helps you to grow in your career is the soft skills that you develop, the so-called soft skills, right? So are you able to communicate with people? Are you able to convince people to do something? Are people going to trust you? Are people going to come to you for advice? Are the people going to ask you about your opinion about doing something? Are you able to, as you said earlier at the beginning, are you able to simplify the complex things and make it simple? So some people are able to collect a large amount of data, a precise with a lot of precision, but at the end of the day, they are not able to come back and say, looking at the data, this is what you should do. So you should be able to come up with recommendations, right? So those kind of skills you need to develop, and those are the transferable skills you can apply to any problem. So at the end of the day, our job is to make the complex the simplify the complex.
Hmm. Wow. That's very amazing. I think you have said it all. I think this is the ultimate Bible as to how a fresher should approach or a young professional should approach the problem of growing in their career and what kind of skill sets they need. Always focus on your basics. Basics are your foundation, and all the topics that Anil have shared, they are very critical. They are tested at the fresher level at great detail, also at young professional level if that is suited to your job profile. Second is be honest and develop credibility. Credibility is the biggest selling point for you as an employee, and that is going to open a lot more doors for you than not having it. Like, and semiconductors is a relatively small industry. Matlab, when I say relatively, does not mean it's a small dabba, but everybody is connected here. So if you're not credible enough, that news is going to propagate, and it will be tough to bounce back from that. So always be honest, always be open with communication, and it is okay to make mistakes. We don't expect so superhumans would be coming and working in semiconductors, but accept your mistakes, ask for help, ask for guidance, work in a team, collaborate, and that is going to take you places.
Absolutely. The only person who don't make mistake is the God or the person who doesn't do anything. So two people don't make mistakes is what I have been told. So the person who doesn't do anything or God. And I think we will make mistakes. It's bound to happen, but we can always make sure that the mistake doesn't propagate. So one of the things I forgot to say is a good way to make sure that we have consistent output is seeking feedback and constant design reviews. So I design systems. I make sure that I review it internally before I show it to additional set of people. So I first review it with a few trusted folks before I open it for formal review. And even after formal review, I make sure that I keep track record of what changes I made and in every revision of a document. So several years later, if you need to go back and trace if something is not working in the lab, then if what change you made at what time. Traceability is important in electronic design, right? Make that mindset of keeping good records, save the designs, make sure you have a good change tracking habits. Use the tools. There are plenty of tools available. Always rely on them, right? So you and co-opt your colleagues, right? So use their help. If you help them, if review their designs or their documentation, they are going to bound to help you, and it is all reciprocal. So,
Yes, absolutely. So, Only one of the very hot questions from audiences. Let's say somebody is a fresher and he is trained through his education in college as well as going through certain training institutes. So,
yes,
for them, what do you believe are various channels for them to get into?
that's a good question, and I don't have the ground level knowledge what is happening in India right now, but definitely, but we have a lot of avenues today, right? So all of the employers, irrespective of the industry today, have social media channels, and they use them heavily for recruiting. So get connected with them on LinkedIn, for example, get connected with them on Facebook, get connected with them on Instagram, get some of them have TikTok channels, get connected with them on there or on Twitter. So what are the topics they are talking about? Don't just go there and say, hey, I am so and so, please recruit me. No. What are they talking about? Do you have a perspective to offer? Do you have a solution to the problem they are talking about? You have a different view, share that. So try to help them. So by helping them, I don't mean you spend 8 hours writing code or 8 hours coming up with a schematic or 8 hours solving a thermal problem or anything, but interact with them. So that is one channel to get connected, right? So the other option is what we are doing right now. So leaders like you are doing a lot of activities. Get connected with them, follow them, and then understand what is the trend. So definitely use the social media channels. Then also go to the company websites, look at their openings, talk to their recruiters. If there are college recruitments, go for that. If there are job fairs, go to that. Go and attend conferences. And one of the things that have happened, which is actually a benefit from the pandemic, I would say, is that many conferences are virtual today, and many of them are actually also free because of that. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that. So attend the conferences, network. So that will give you opportunity to network with industry leaders, right? So showcase your work, whether you have done some internship at the school, or you are doing some robotic projects for hobby, or you are doing that elevator controller that solves the problem. Showcase that to the people who might be decision makers at the companies. So that's one thing. Also use your other channels to share your knowledge, right? So if you are so passionate about instrumentation amplifiers, and if you want to say how you can design an error-free instrumentation amplifier, or even if it is something that you have learned by looking at a device data sheet and you have prototyped it or you have simulated it using SpeedSpice, go publish a paper on your LinkedIn or some other social channel or showcase the work you have done. So what was the problem? How the customer will benefit? Who was the target audience? How they would benefit? This was your solution, and explain why it is unique. So do all that, and that will get you noticed. So I also believe that all of the universities and colleges has career placement offices. Definitely utilize them as well to get campus recruiting if possible.
Yes, absolutely. Anil, thank you so much. Let me summarize that. I think number one thing is that try to develop a professional relationship with leaders you can find on platforms like LinkedIn. Most of the leaders are on LinkedIn. If you see major job announcements, major internship announcements are being done on LinkedIn right now. So have a good LinkedIn profile, exhibit all of your skills, write about your education, your publication, your projects, and everything, and try to reach out. And I can add some more insight here because I get a lot of requests every day. Don't just write a bland question. Hey Kritika, tell me, should I do A or B? Because I will not be able to guide you to that level. But if you try to explain the complete situation, that this is my background, these are the subjects I like, this is what I want to do, I may be able to give you some insight that can help you. But to get the right employment opportunity, to figure out what technology, what leader to work on, develop a professional relationship, Anil has given you the biggest golden advice out there. reach with them Reach to them with a potential solution of the problem they might be looking into. Give your insights on it. You may not have figured out 100% of the solution, but the intent that you are working towards it, and you are aware of the challenges that they're trying to solve, will help you get your feet at the door, and things may start changing for you. So be active on social media, try to build a professional relationship, try to exhibit or try to tell them what all skills you have and how you can add value, and that will help you in a very long run.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? So don't get discouraged, right? So you are going to get a lot of rejections. A lot of people may not respond to you because they frankly may not see the value that you can provide. So that shouldn't deter you. You have to be consistent with this, right? So if you are just finishing school and you are looking for a job, so looking for a job is going to be your full-time job until you get a job. So invest the time, invest the energy, don't get discouraged. So for some people it may take only 30 days. So some people it may take a 1 year or more. So don't get discouraged, right? So whether you start this year, whether you start in a different company, service company or a product company, whether you came from tier 1 school or tier 3 school, all that will not matter after 10 years, right? After 10 years or so, what matters is, are you going to be able to produce output? Are you able to lead people? Are you able to communicate well? Are you able to produce the results needed? So all those things will matter. So don't worry about starting now versus starting somewhere else, or starting a year later or anything, right? Be consistent, do the work to get the job, or start anything that mildly interests you, you can change later.
Sure. I think there's a lot of queries about importance of MTech to get into industry. I
Um,
think
it all depends on the situation, right? You know, if you're still looking for a job, and then if you're finding it a little bit difficult to do that, and you are still very interested in continuing the studies, and you have a specific field of interest, and you are able to get a secure admission to a prestigious university, you should continue on the academics. So if you are not particularly interested in continuing the studies after 16 years of continuous toiling, or plus 16 years, then you want to do explore the job, go work somewhere, and you can do the MTech 2 or 3 years later, or part time after you while you work, etc. It all depends on your personal interest, your personal situation, your financial situation, what excites you. So do what is going to be more, what is going to make you more happy at that moment. So everything is going to work out eventually.
Definitely. I think I did a poll on this particular issue, and the trend was that 68% of semiconductor professionals recommend entering the industry through MTech. Predominantly, they view that after MTech, you will be able to sharpen your skills a bit more. I think that was the trend that we saw in the poll that I did. Maybe in future we can talk more about how we can do MTech and how financially you you can take care of the financial aspect of doing an MTech if that is the general market trend. I'll take that and I'll work on that. In future, let's try to answer this question on ChipTales. Okay. Oh, this is a very good question. How do somebody get VLSA job abroad? I I know a lot of answers, but okay. Do you
Yes,
want to take it?
uh, yes, it all depends. One thing you can do, we just talked about doing MTech, right? So one thing is after you do your bachelor's, you could go abroad, depending on which country you want to go. You want to go to Singapore, or you want to go to Germany, or you want to go to the United States. You could apply to a school there and then go for higher studies there, and then specializing in circuit design or computer engineering or things like that. And then eventually you can enter the industry like that. So go overseas for academics and work eventually through that. Another option is to join a multinational company that is already having a very good footprint in India, um, uh, such as world famous companies are there, right? So join their Indian operations, work there, and eventually they will have opportunities overseas in their overseas branches, and then you do an internal transfer and go to the place of your choice. If you want to go to France, probably you want to choose a company who has a lot of presence in France. If you want to go to Japan, you want to go to a company that has most presence in Japan, and so forth. And the other one is join companies that primarily operate as designing chips for other multinational companies that has got operations overseas, right? So there are a lot of companies in India who design chips for other companies, right? So if you join them, you will work in India maybe for a few years, and eventually you will go offshore. You will go onshore or near shore and work with these companies on their facilities, and eventually you either continue to work with your current employer or join the client company. Things depending on the arrangement between the two companies. That's another possibility. The other one is the last one I could think of is what happened to me. Start working in India, and then if companies are looking to recruit for opportunities overseas, go interview and get recruited that way, and then they process your visa and you come or come go abroad. And then it happened twice in my case. So I was in India. I went to some other place with the company, and while another company here found my experience useful, so they recruited me from there and brought me over here. So that's another path. So multiple paths exist. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. It all depends on your situation and what works out for you. So eventually, I would say don't make these things as a roadblock. Be willing to adjust, right? So if something doesn't work out, don't hit your head right onto that. Try to work around that. So if you want to go abroad and you are trying to do that for 2 years, and if that is not working out, then don't wait 2 years not working. Maybe those 2 years, if you work at some company and gain experience, and you continue to go abroad, that might help you. So always be willing to adjust you and change your course depending on the what roadblocks you face.
Yeah. Very
Be,
insightful, Naveen.
be flexible is what I would say.
Yes. I think there is one more aspect to this problem is why do somebody want to move out of a country to another location? The motivation can be job. I will get more innovation opportunities. It can be I'll my fat check will be in that particular currency and all those things. So I would really recommend that before you start pursuing this, be very aware of what is your motivation behind this, because I think post pandemic people have become much more aware of these life choices. So evaluate if the motivation is money, open glass door, just go through the kind of salaries that are being offered in India right now, and then make a conscious decision. If the motivation is that I'll get to work on more cutting edge technology, try to explore through Indian channels what kind of opportunities are there in India and does that excite you or not. If after all these also you are like, no, I think I have to move, that is my personal ambition, I would want to do it, then there are many channels to do it, like Anil have mentioned, and you can pursue it. But be very clear as to why you are choosing this path. Be self aware and do proper data point analysis on this.
Absolutely, you shouldn't have any regrets. As Kritika said, you should be very mindful. You should be intentional about why do you ask the why question and answer it. So, why do you? I want to work abroad, right? So, is it for the technical opportunities I get? Is it for the money I get? Is it for the lifestyle I want? Is it for me for a few years to go and see places and then come back? Answer the questions, and the answers will help.
We go 3 more good minutes. So, if there could be only one key takeaway for our audience today, what would you want that to be?
The key takeaway is that we have to be very disciplined, right? So we only have limited time, so use the time wisely. So when you are at the school, focus on the studies. Of course, focus on the studies doesn't mean 100% of the time just toiling with the studies, but make sure, yeah, studies get their importance. If you're playing games, you get that time segregated for that. If you are doing some arts and competitions, when you do something, just 100% focus on that, and have develop a systematic way of doing things. So manage your time, and that is the most important thing. When you do something, do it 100%. If you are not convinced of doing something, if something doesn't interest you, don't try to overpower that and make your life miserable. So try to find the point of a balance where things are interesting to you, they are economically beneficial to you, and you are learning, and you're happy. So we hear the term work-life balance. I don't know whether I like that term. I like work-life integration. Work is just a part of life, right? But don't make it 100% of your life, then you are going to be miserable. So find the equilibrium. So in whatever you do, it in moderation, find the equilibrium. That is the thing. So, and if something doesn't work out, don't get frustrated. You adjust. You have full control on what you do. You have full control on how do you respond to a situation. You are in control. It's not somebody else's fault. It's all not fate. We are going to control our own luck. You are empowered. That is the one I want. The one thing I want you to remember, right? So you have full control, and if things are not working out, step back, take a look. What is not working out? Find options to change. Ask people. People will help you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So, as Paulo Coelho said, if you want to get something done, the world is going to help you. I think it's something like that. I don't know the exact quote. I read the book last year, but I can't remember the exact. He repeats this sentence throughout the novel. So that is, if you haven't read that book, I recommend you reading the book. It's very interesting, very short read. You can finish it in reasonable amount of time. It's not a huge book. So be in your, you can control your destiny.
Definitely. Jesse, I think Shah Rukh Khan said, believe in that, stay positive, keep doing the hard work, the smart work, whatever you believe in. Keep on putting the required time and effort. And also with that, have a life, go out with friends, spend time with family, have hobbies, sleep at night, and things have a way of working out. Believe in it, and things will work out.
Absolutely. And
Thank you
thank you
so
for
much,
this.
Anil.
Thank you so
Yes,
much
sorry.
for this opportunity. I really enjoyed
Def-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much, Anil. You have shared so much wisdom, so much golden nuggets of knowledge today. I think there's so much to take back. My back is full. My bag is full of all the gold that you have shared in the form of wisdom. I'm so grateful that we got this opportunity to learn from you today. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you. Have a great day. Rest of the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Anil. So that's all from today's session of ChipTales. Do follow me on LinkedIn to never miss an update for the next ChipTales session. And looking forward to learning about more about semiconductors with you all on our weekend sessions. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care. Have a nice weekend.